Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of the Cyberman Show. Today is my monthly recap of cybersecurity events for May 2024. So I'll will break this down into few categories like the money flow in terms of mergers or acquisitions, incidents across sectors, interesting reports and articles that I've come across, and I would like you to go through it. Any new analyst report, new notable vulnerabilities, as well as a recap of what I've shared last month on my podcast. With that, let's get started. So, in terms of where the money is flowing, what I've done is I've categorized all these acquisitions based on sectors so that it's easy for all of us to track which sectors are getting the most attention. Now, this month has been, or essentially May has been very active. In the network security category, we saw Cloudflare announcing the acquisition of Bastion Zero. It's a stage startup that would enhance its VPN replacement solution. So Cloudflare already has a zero trust and an enterprise access security solution. Uh, this is going to add capabilities into the existing platform. In the threat detection response domain, which is mostly focused around products that are used in security operations, I'm sure you know that Palo Alto acquired IBM QRadar SaaS assets. That was interesting. Logarithm merged with Exabeam. Both have SIM and UEB products, so it will be interesting how the company strategy will take place or move forward in the future. And then Buckcrowd announced acquisition of a company called Informer to enhance their attack surface management. Sorry. In in the API security category, Akamai has announced acquisition of No Name Security, a platform that just did API security. So Akamai has been making investments on application security side. I'm sure you know they have CDN products as well as some of the enterprise access zero trust products, and this is going to add capabilities into that. Akamai also has WAP products. Uh, Most of their products are offered as part of their embedded cloud security stack. So very interesting. I did an episode on API security last time, and that's where I realized the kind of investments Akamai is making into the application and API security space. Then identity security, CyberArk has acquired Venafi for $1.54 billion to ramp up their machine-to-machine security. Now, this is interesting considering the increase in number of devices that are connecting to enterprise applications as well as to home users. So the machine-to-machine security is, of course, going to grow. Then in the related space, which is brand protection and digital risk protection, a company called Permera, they are a private equity firm. They have acquired a majority stake in BioCatch, which is a behavioral biometric company to boost its digital identity and fraud prevention. So, quite familiar with BioCatch. Some of my friends used to work there. A very interesting concept. Then a company called Heavily Investments have acquired ZeroFox. ZeroFox has threat intelligence platforms. They have external attack surface management platforms, etc. So they have some overlapping use case for security monitoring and SOCs, both for internal security as well as external monitoring uh, in terms of dark web, etc. Then Crane Next has acquired OPSEC Security. OPSEC also has certain solution in brand management and brand protection. Now, while I was going through all this acquisition, I realized that there is a need to do an episode on brand protection, DRP as a domain. So I'm gonna definitely do that. Then in the compliance category, Drata, which is a compliance automation platform, has acquired Oak9, that specializes in infrastructure security automation to expand its security and compliance capability. And lastly, in terms of data security, Tenable is acquiring Eureka Security. It's a Israel-based company that has a DSPM solution for cloud environment. So, yep, DSPM is really hot right now, considering the amount of the cloud-based storage or cloud data lakes that are used. In fact, I'm reading about companies that are able to integrate with Snowflake, and then able to process security event data. That's a very interesting use case. What I have to still understand is how enterprises are going to have one data lake that is used by enterprise application and other for security. Typically, I feel every team wants to have their own data lake. It might not make sense in terms of cost for a lot of organization, but definitely in terms of the teams and how organizations are aligned, it definitely makes sense. People don't want to touch the data that is owned by a different business unit, especially true in case of larger companies. Okay, so that we'll see how it goes. But I'm sure there is business for everyone. I'm sure there are use cases that make sense to certain companies and other use cases or architectures that don't. So it will always be a hybrid world. In terms of incident, again, I've divided them based on sector. So crypto exchange, I'm hearing about a crypto exchange breach after a long time. I remember last year there were a bunch of crypto exchanges that were hacked. So this time, Japanese cryptocurrency exchange called DMM Bitcoin has reported a loss of around $305 million in Bitcoin due to the hack. Then in the IT sector, Dell, personal information of 49 million customers have been allegedly breached. Media companies, there was a breach in May where former BBC employees' information of around 25,000 employees was lost, and then Russian hackers hijacked Ukrainian TV broadcasts to air a victory parade, disrupting the local programming. So this is not new, and I'm referring to the uh, hijacking of the programming of one particular channel. This has happened in the past where Russia uh, has done this kind of things with other channels in Ukraine also. Moving on to the retail sector, Ticketmaster, which is an online booking platform, it has been breached. And there is a group called Shiny Hunter, which is responsible for this breach, and it has affected 560 million customers of Ticketmaster. So that's massive scale. And also restaurants, ransomware has hit seafood restaurant chain called Jumbo Group. In the banking category, Santander Bank, which is the Eurozone's second largest lender, was targeted in a cyber attack affecting banking operations and customer data. And JP Morgan data breach hits around 451K retirement plan member. In the healthcare sector, the First Nations National Authority in British Columbia experienced a cyber attack compromising sensitive health information. Also, San Antonio Health provider got hacked with an impact of around 400,000 patients. Also, Medisecure, an online prescription provider, was hit by a large-scale ransomware attack, compromising sensitive patient data and disrupting services. And also in May, Ascension reported a suspected cyber attack disrupting clinical operations. So healthcare has been getting hammered as a vertical since last 2 years at least. Change Healthcare's breach was the largest that I have heard of so far. There's a lot of legacy solutions to my understanding in this domain. What are I'm reading, I'm connecting with people. They all tell me there's a lot of technical debt because of various reasons. Okay, so that's why it's easier for hackers to go after these companies in healthcare. Then moving on to state and federal, Richland, Washington, hit by data breach involving the City 911 emergency service. Now this is not good. These are critical services and hence they should be secured, which means more budgets should go to these kind of services. In the manufacturing sector, Nissan data breach has exposed social security numbers of thousands of employees in North America. And lastly, in the legal sector, a Singapore law firm was hit by a cyber attack and they paid $1.4 million ransom to regain access to their systems. Okay. Now, my take after going through all this is, one, threat actors are going to go after businesses that are known not to invest heavily in cybersecurity and have legacy systems. This includes healthcare, restaurants, and law firms mostly, right? Also, breaches on critical infrastructure will get common as systems are becoming online, and we have to build resilient strategies where we can manage these systems even when these systems are not available. Okay, so as a society, as a community, we have to understand that we have to have a plan for all this. While government will do what they can, authorities will do what they can, but also we have to have the mental resilience to survive where we can in such scenarios in case something is not available. So we have to have resilient strategies. Also, now moving on to the interesting reports and article that I recommend you to read uh, is one. I've been following the a threat operation called Midnight Eclipse. It's a activity related to Palo Alto CV 2024-3400. Essentially, it's a command injection vulnerability in their firewall operating system called PAN-OS, and it enables an unauthenticated attacker to execute arbitrary code with root privilege on the firewall. So it's the CVSS score of this vulnerability is 10.0, which is high. Now, I like reading this to understand how the attackers are exploiting them, and this article gives you those details. In terms of reports, two few very interesting reports. Verizon's data breach report for 2024 is out. I still have to go through it. Palo Alto has published a report on state of the cloud native security report for 2024. Fortinet has released global threat landscape report for second half of 2023. So Forst has released their active adversary report for first half of 2024. Okay, and this essentially contains their analysis of over 150 cases drawn from the 2023 workload of their IR team. So all these interesting reports, I will share what I can after going through this content is very unique to understand what's happening, to look at the patterns, how systems, how enterprises are getting attacked, and how these businesses are handling these. Okay. Also, a few interesting articles that I've gone through are there is a new article on how the malware-based scanning is on the rise. This article reviews how attackers use infected hosts for malware-based scans of their targets instead of more traditional approach using direct scans. Also, there is a growing number of threats leveraging Microsoft API. So there is a new, previously undocumented piece of malware that uses the Graph API to leverage Microsoft OneDrive for CNC purposes. So this was very interesting, considering Microsoft OneDrive is an approved platform for most of the organizations that use Microsoft technology. And the last article that I found really interesting was threat hunting using Snowflake. So this new article discusses a threat actor that is exploiting stolen customer credentials to target organizations using Snowflake databases, and they focus on data theft and extortion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave links to these articles in my blog called the Cyberman Stack. It's available on Substack. So the summary that I have put there from today's episode will have links to all these articles, which will make it easy for you to refer to these articles and go through them. Also, there is a new analyst report for product evaluations. The 2024 report for SIEMs from Gartner is out. It has listed Splunk, Microsoft, IBM, Securonix, Exabeam as leaders. Logarithm is niche. The reason I'm mentioning them, that Exabeam and Logarithm are getting merged. So we'll see what happens to next year. Also, IBM assets getting acquired by Palo Alto. So we'll see what happens there. So I like reading the critical capabilities report in case they get available by certain vendors. It helps you understand how products are evaluated, how analysts look at them, and what features are getting targeted by various companies that are making these products. In terms of notable vulnerabilities, a very interesting vulnerability from Checkpoint VPN. Checkpoint has warned of attempts to access enterprise networks through the old VPN accounts using password-only authentication. There was a hotfix available from Checkpoint, but then further analysis revealed that the attacks exploited a new vulnerability that allows hackers to extract password hashes from network security gateways, and this zero-day affects Checkpoint products with IPsec VPN, remote access VPN, or mobile access enabled. And Mnemonic reported seeing these attacks since April 30. So I'm also reading them. The reason I track all these, some of these, not all, but some of these interesting platforms or large companies and their vulnerabilities is to understand how initial access is done. So if you are in cyber, you know that phishing is one of the most used initial access. Now, what I'm noticing is the last few years, there has been increase in number of attacks on all the companies or product companies that have a VPN product. This includes Fortinet, Palo Alto, Checkpoint, Cisco, and most of them, right? And a lot of them are 0 days. Okay, so cyber criminals are getting together. What is accelerating? I have no idea about that, but is AI helping them to code faster, find 0 day vulnerabilities? Maybe not. I'm just uh, trying to find the patterns that are there. Okay. Lastly, on my podcast in the month of May, I published episodes on API security. I also released a framework that I'm using to track the AI and cybersecurity related development. Uh, I also did an episode on Red Candy's annual threat detection report. I created some videos on industrial malware, so I'm tracking this as a separate topic on my YouTube channel. It's not available on the podcast, but it's only on my YouTube channel. And then I started creating short content on identity security. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a topic within cyber and I'm creating short form content on YouTube channel for anybody to refer to the concepts of that domain. So I've done around 50 shorts just on identity security. So it contains content about what are the issues within identity, what kind of attacks exist, and what are the solutions. Okay, or security best practices or identity security. I'm going to keep doing that. It's not easy to put all these short content on podcast. Doesn't make sense, and that's why I'm putting it only on YouTube and on my Instagram channel called the Cyberman Show. With that, thank you so much for every listener. I often get good direct messages from a lot of people who like this content. So keep sharing, keep liking, keep giving feedback. Till then, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.